Day 6 action at the Tokyo Olympics is upon us, and the Caribbean is on its collective marks as action is poised to begin on the track. And that's where the Caribbean will make its presence felt greatly at these games, although the region already on the medal table by virtue of what Flora Duffy did in the triathlon, landing gold, the first in the country's history, and only its second medal since it started competing at the Olympics in 1936. Good evening to you, good afternoon, wherever you are watching our broadcast. This is Tokyo Prime, the evening edition, and my name is George Davis. Before I introduce my all-star cast, it is needful for me to say something about the broadcast that we've been presenting to you thus far. And as we broadcast these games of the 32nd Olympiad, we are aware and sensitive to concerns raised by some of you, our viewers, about some disconnect between the pre-scheduled run of events and what is actually delivered on the channels. We are in a position where we can explain why that is so. Given that our coverage is Caribbean-centric, where we focus on the exploits of Caribbean competitors, it is needful for us sometimes when you are watching a particular event to cut from that event so we can show you what our Caribbean competitors are doing in their events. Also, sometimes events overrun, sometimes events finish before the scheduled time, and other times the broadcaster has to make schedule changes based on circumstances that they're dealing with on their end. All those factors have combined so far to cause us to have to cut some events and go to other events. But again, we are focusing on the exploits of athletes from this part of the world, and we're sure you understand that we want to show our Caribbean competitors, our brothers and sisters competing, because that's what this coverage is all about. Now, even as we say that, we are committed to getting it right, to make the alignment tighter, to make what you see on your program schedule actually what's on the TV screens, and we'll continue to ensure that that happens as the days go by. We crave your understanding and indulgence as we continue to broadcast these games to you and present them with a team led by the best presenters and, of course, world-class analysts who have experience in winning and performing at the highest level at the Olympics. With that said, my cast today includes Elaine Bailey, Pauline Davis-Thompson, Anil Roberts, and Alex Jordan. Welcome, team, and I know you all can't say a collective welcome, so I can say thank you for the welcome that you're expressing to me silently. And if I may start with the lady over there in Japan, Alex Jordan. Alex, today is day 6. You've been away for a while. You are now seasoned to everything in Japan. What is the feeling like today as the Caribbean prepares to watch its athletes take to the track on Thursday?
Well, I'd have to say good morning from Tokyo. You often say good evening and good afternoon wherever you are. But of course, it's morning time for us in Tokyo. A bit of an overcast morning here. And I think we've seen, perhaps as expected in these games, some big shock exits of stars. So I think track and field fans around the world will be holding their breath in anticipation of the start of the track and field here at this 32nd Olympiad.
Absolutely so. All right, let's get right into the first major issue of today's Tokyo Prime. And I want to give the lady who's making her first appearance on Tokyo Prime the chance to speak first. Aileen Bailey has not come to this set just yet. Pauline Davis-Thompson has been here, and the others can be referred to now as usual suspects. Aileen, the issue of mental health has cropped up at these games, and we see athletes not being afraid to say that they are struggling and they aren't able to compete optimally. Does the issue of mental health have a particular significance at the Olympics than it would at any other major competition, at any other major event?
I mean, the Olympics is like, it's bigger than everything else. So there's like a lot more pressure added onto you because you're pretty much representing your country, yourself, and then if you're like the favorite, like there's extra pressure on you because okay, I can't fail, I have to make sure I do this right, I have to execute everything correctly. So it's a mental war going on in your head, whether you're thinking, okay, I'm doing this for myself, but I'm doing it for my country. And then with social media and people talking, you tend to bring that into it too as well. So it's like a big struggle within yourself to perform to how you think you can, but how the world and your country is expecting you to run.
Pauline, there was a time when an athlete confessing to mental health issues, where that athlete would have been dogged out, criticized as being soft, criticized as looking for an excuse. But the world has changed and people are more sympathetic and trying to be empathetic in certain respects.
Most certainly. For us athletes and for the athletes that compete now, it's a lot of pressure. When you're talking about representing your country and being like 0. whatever percent of the population of your country, when you're out there running for your country and representing that flag, for whether you have 300,000 people, whether you have 5 million or 20 million or 30 million or 500 million or whatever, it's a lot of pressure to go out there because everyone is looking forward to you performing well, but they don't understand behind the scene is a lot of things going on. Sometimes you have the officials, they're stressing you out for one reason or the other. They might not want you there, and because you're there, they don't want you there. They're going to do certain things that are going to really stress you. So a lot of times, the general populace has no idea of some of the things that us athletes go through. And I know I went through all that, and that is why I wrote my book, Running Sideways, because I needed to put that out there for the world to see. I need to put that out there for fellow athletes to see. I need to put that out there for my country to see. These were my struggle. These were the things that didn't allow me to bring home more Olympic medals.
Yes.
Because my coach, Lauren Seagrave, told me, he said, Pauline, if you didn't have to go through all of that struggle, you'd have brought a lot more medals home to your country.
Yes.
And so, yes, that mental health issue is a serious, serious, serious situation, and we are not to take that lightly.
Absolutely so. Let's hear from the now crop of athletes, their perspective on these mental health issues that have affected some of their competitors.
It's very real. I mean, we're seeing it all over in the games. People, a lot of spectators, you know, they don't know, they can't really fathom the level of sport that the Olympics is. You see a guy swimming in the pool and you're like, well, I could do that. Or, you know, like, why didn't he win? Or some, you know, I mean, it's a generalization, but it's just so hard to fathom, like, how high this level really is for the average spectator. And we're all just trying our best, you know, and we're all human at the end of the day, and we all get nervous. We all, you know, make mistakes. None of us are perfect. Even the winners, the gold medalists, are not perfect, and they didn't have perfect swims. So, yeah, just being able to hold your head high no matter what, I think that helps.
Honestly, sometimes I just find time for myself, and whether that's just putting my phone down, or sometimes I usually just take hot baths on a Sunday. That's kind of my reset for the week. I go take a hot bath, maybe do a face mask every once in a while, and just stay away off my phone, just play some music and relax, set out my week, you know, schedule any homework I may have, or, you know, just get ready for another week and just move on like that. But I think that's been my biggest help so far in the pandemic.
Two of the Caribbean's foremost young swimmers there talking about mental health challenges. Alex Jordan, the fact is that we are having pandemic Olympic Games in a pandemic world. It's no surprise that mental health issues and the struggles with connecting and maintaining that connection have loomed so large.
Yeah, indeed. There is no surprise at all. And in fact, George, yesterday you put a question to Anil that I wish I could have answered. You know, you asked, are we mollycoddling these athletes? But I think it is important to recognize, appreciate that this is a year unlike any other, right? This is a year where collectively as a globe we've been challenged with our mental health. We see that Simone Biles has pulled out of the all-round. She won't be defending her title. And she referenced a concept called the twisties, right, in gymnastics, which is the equivalent to the yips in the putts, in golf, should I say. So ideally, what you're seeing here is that all different sports, everyone is talking about when the mind starts disconnecting from the body.
Anil Roberts, the fact is we spoke this morning on Tokyo Prime about the D word, doubt. And when doubt creeps in and people are apprehensive about whether there can be a full expression of their talent, and even bigger than all of those things, whether they can satisfy the hordes expecting them to deliver and to deliver in style, all those things weighing on athletes' minds. In these times, are we surprised that some of the most successful, some of the most high profile are struggling in the way they are?
Well, let's put it into perspective. We've got 10,000 athletes out there performing, and 95% are performing well and prepared well to do their best. They know how to get into their ideal performance state. But what it alerts us to the point as coaches, as managers, as people involved with the support staff of the athlete, we always tend to look at the physiological, the genetic makeup, the fast twitch fibers, the aerobic capacity, the VO2 max, the amount of training we're doing, the pressure. But sometimes you eliminate and forget that you must work the brain. The brain is a muscle, the psychology, the mental health, the focus, understanding. Some of the ways you deal with pressure begin at the young ages. That's why we get athletes at young ages in the growth and maturational stage. Between the ages of 6 and 11, you develop their character, their ability to understand what they're doing. You create intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic, so that these pressures, they talk about media and who says what. When an athlete is well prepared mentally, understands visualization, mental tactics, yoga, streaming, centering, coming back.
We're having, Anil, we're having some audio issues. Your feed is freezing, undermining the quality of the contribution that you are making. Let me turn to Elaine once again. The fact is that, you know, I posed that question yesterday because I know that people sitting home are wondering, well, what are these athletes on about? They should just get on with it. They should just toughen up and move on. And so I asked the question if nowadays when people say, oh, you know, I'm having a mental health moment, and persons are more inclined to, oh, you know, come and have a hug. Are you okay? You want to sit out training? You want to sit out competition? Go ahead. While some people are saying, no, toughen up, get on with it. Is there a best approach to an athlete struggling in that situation? Is there any merit in convincing people, or trying to convince people to dig in and fight through, or we must just listen to them and allow them to find their own equilibrium?
I mean, there's, you can, pretty much listening to them, because sometimes not listening, so they feel like no one cares about how I'm feeling. And with gymnastic, like the slight disconnect you have mentally, like you could be flipping and you disconnect mentally, because with Simone, like she's been graded lower than what she's capable of, because she's challenging it, and then because other athletes are trying to do what she's doing and getting hurt, she's being penalized. So mentally for her, she's like, okay, I don't care. Like it's like, okay, I'm doing my best. I worked hard to be able to do these things, to score these points, and people don't care. So I mean, for her, like the slightest disconnect she has, she could do a flip and in the air and like, oh God, I gotta make sure I don't overdo it so I don't lose points. So she could do that and mess up and break something, including her neck. So you know, you have to understand with that, but in other terms, like in track and field, if you have that specific person that can like get you calm, talk to you, like just have a conversation with the athlete, try and figure out ways to help them not focus on everything that's going on, which is why it's always good to not have them have access to social. Back when we were campaigning, we didn't have social media to read what people are saying about us. Now it's different. Back when we had like tough athletes, it's like somebody who'd have to come into your face to say something to you, which they wouldn't. But now you have like these social media coaches and people saying stuff about you, and you get to read it, and it's different. It's different when you're reading it and you're like, I'm this tough athlete, and I'm like, and you're reading what people are saying about you and you're giving it your best. It's hard. It's hard to focus.
Simone Biles out of the team event. She has pulled out of one of the individual events as well, and there are doubts over whether we'll see her again at these Tokyo Olympic Games. Paul Pogba, the France and Manchester United midfielder, has posted a message on social media giving support to Simone Biles and asking the world to be understanding of the immense pressure that athletes at the elite level face in competition. Much to ponder. This is Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. We continue our conversations after these. Japan is a country multifaceted, world famous for its cuisine as well. The athletes, of course, will be advised to stay away from much of this until after competition. Tasty delights, delectable treats, and tasty and delectable is what we hope the Caribbean's finest will serve up on the track when track and field gets underway on Thursday. You're back with us, Tokyo Prime, the evening edition, and we're going to talk now about the women's 100 meters. The first thing to say is that Shelly-Ann Fraser Price is at the point of the women's track and field prowess in the Caribbean. She has seen it all, has done it all, and pound for pound, the most successful and the greatest competing right now. Elaine Thompson Herrera on track to equal and perhaps even surpass what Shelly-Ann Fraser Price has achieved. But beyond those two, there is a new wave of sprinters from the Caribbean who are absolutely fantastic and are on track to eclipse what some of the most brilliant women from this part of the world have achieved in the sprints at the Olympics. One of them with the potential to reach for the sky and beyond, Antigua and Barbuda's Joella Lloyd.
"19-year-old Antiguan Joella Lloyd's story has progressed quickly.
High school, well, I've been doing well in Antigua, and then I went to Caribda. I medaled every time I went there. I was in CUT games, and I was the most outstanding athlete then. And I just kept that momentum going until I went to college for one semester in Antigua, and that's when I got an offer from the University of Tennessee. And this is my first full season. So before I was just training, I was redshirting, I was paying attention to the right mechanics. And now I've experienced a full season of competition, and I know how to mentally prepare for my races. I'm still processing it. Yes, I'm excited and everything, but it's like I've been dreaming about this for the longest while, and now it's actually coming true. And I don't feel as if I've shown it as much, but I'm definitely excited.
She will compete in the much-anticipated 100 meters and understands how significant a race it will be.
Honestly, I want to be there when they're making history, because I know it's going to be history made in this race. And I've been excited all year, been waiting for all the clashes, and I would love to be there on the line with them.
Joella's coach, Jamil Nelson, knew she was something special from the moment he saw her.
The first time I've seen Joella, it can date back to 11 years ago. I started working at the St. John's Catholic Primary School, and I think that's probably the first time she actually got into track and field. We had a PE session, and I saw her. She was out with the other students. I was like, okay, she was here, and everybody else was here. So I inquired about her, and nobody really knew about her at the school. So it took a few more weeks, and I spotted quite a few of those athletes, and she seemed to be the one that stood the test of time. And I've been with her. I've been with her parents, telling her, no, I don't think you guys realize the gem that you have right now, and trust me, she's going to do big things. And the aim was always the 2020 Olympics. It's 2021, but that was the aim, and it's achieved. You see, you've spoken to her, you've seen how calm she is, you know, but when that gun goes off, it's a totally different person. So I was just remind her of that beast that she is, that Hulk that she is, and just to keep her focus.
He's been a big factor in my track and field career. Honestly, he's the one who started me out and told me that, okay, you can get to the Olympics, I can get you into university, like anything is possible. And he's given me a lot of hope since I've started track and field.
Coach Nelson acknowledged that Joella's parents took some convincing.
Her parents are truly, they've been very supportive throughout. There've been some times, you know, we had some ups and downs. Both her parents are in the education background, so, you know, a lot of focus would be on, you know, schoolwork, and so I try to get the battle like, okay, you know, but let's try to balance both. But overall, the parents have been very, very supportive. They've been there every step of the way. I don't think there've been any major meets that she's been to, except for now, that they haven't traveled to. So yeah, I definitely had the support from the parents.
This debutante has come to Tokyo to stand up and be counted.
Big smile, big personality, budding young talent. Alex Jordan, I'm starting with you. Alex, you are sitting in the, although you're standing there, you're sitting in what we call the catbird seat. In North America, there is a bird known as the catbird who takes the perch in the highest part of the tree so it can see a panoramic view, so it can see any predators coming. It's the most advantageous position. You are where we'd all want to be speaking to these athletes. Tell us about Joella Lloyd and the magnetism that she radiates.
Oh yeah, George, she's an impressive young lady. It was very notable when I met her how relaxed, how at ease she was, and what a different mindset that is compared to an athlete upon which a lot is expected, you know. Nothing's expected from her. She's a debutante. She's excited to be here and therefore really looking forward to what she could achieve. And you heard what she said. She knows history is going to be made and she wants to be there. So there's a whole aura around Joella Lloyd which feels relaxed and lucky and excited to be here in Tokyo for the 2020 Olympics.
All right, Joella Lloyd there, Antigua and Barbuda's pride and joy. Pauline, I'm coming to you now to talk about the young Bahamian women who are poised to usher in the new wave of sprinting dominance from that outstanding Caribbean island.
Well, definitely for the Bahamas, we have several young athletes. We have a young athlete by the name of Tainea Gator, and she's going to be running in the 100 meters. And she was a finalist at the last World Championship in the 200 meters. So we expected great things from her, and she's a Grand Bahamian, like I'm an Asuvian.
Yes.
Right? We are from the Bahamas, but depending on what area you're from or what island you're from, it's called differently. So Tainea is a Grand Bahamian. And we have another young athlete named Brianna Bethel. Brianna goes to the University of Houston. So far this year, she's run 22.50, and she has run 51.72. So we're expecting some great things from young Brianna, another Grand Bahamian. And of course, we have the Nasuvians. Persons like we have Antonique Strawn, who was a rising star athlete back in the day.
Yes.
She was given the trophy by IAAF at the time, which is now World Athletics,
yes,
as a rising star,
yes,
the best in the world as a junior athlete.
Yes.
And so we're very proud of her. And of course, we have the usual suspects. You know, we have, of course, Shanae is there. She's still considered to be very, very young. She's in her 20s.
Yes, still a young woman.
Yeah, she's in her 20s, and we're expecting great things from Shanae. I understand that she's going to do the 2-4 double. I'm not 100% sure about that. That's going to be very, very tough. But we do expect her. She's a reigning Olympic champion at 400 meters. And so we will expect for her to carry the black, gold, and aquamarine colors of our country tall and proud.
Yeah.
Yes? And of course, we have young Stephen Gardner, another young athlete from the Bahamas. Now, Stephen Gardner is an Abaconian.
From Abaco, yeah.
An Abaconian.
Yes.
So he's from the island of Abaco.
Yes.
Because you know the Bahamas is an archipelago of 700 islands.
Yes.
And so...
There's someone everywhere.
Yes, exactly. So there's talent all over the archipelago of the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the athletes that we have. We have young Donald. We have also Donald Thomas. He's not so young.
Yeah.
He was a world champion in the high jump at the World Championship. Donald is also another Grand Bahamian. And so then we have Jamal Wilson, who is a little bit younger than Donald. And we're really expecting overall, George, some amazing things from our athletes from the Bahamas. I mean, they're ready. They're ready to go, and they understand that prides run deep in the 242, baby.
Yes.
That's what we say. And they understand what that means.
242 all day, all right?
242 all day, baby.
All day.
242 to the world.
I can't buy it. Jamaica, Elaine, when you look at Jamaica and you look at what the quality of the women's squad, the usual suspects, Fraser Price and Elaine, Thompson, Herrera. When you look beyond those two, are you seeing a lot of quality? Are you seeing a next generation that pretty soon is going to be the top bosses in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and the 400 meters as well?
I mean, you know, I'm a Veritech girl, so I have to start off with Sharika. Sharika definitely looks like she'll be able to carry the torch on following Shelly and Elaine.
No. You're right here, right here.
So she's there, and then I've been following high school track. The twins from Edwin Allen.
The Liston twins.
Yes.
Yes.
They look promising. So our arsenal is is still there and heavy and stacked. So we definitely will have someone to replace them once they're out.
You know, the funny thing is that people look at the Jamaican men's squad and they say it's weak because of how strong the women's squad is. When you look at the women again, on the list of names that are going to Tokyo, Elaine, do you look at people? Are you counting gold medals like so many Jamaicans are? Because, you know, we don't need any invitation to count gold medals. Are you counting gold, sweeps, 100 meter sweep, 200 meters? Are you looking at that? Are you looking at as far ahead as that?
I am. I've been looking at sweeps because the 100 sweep.
Pauline doesn't disagree, you know, because she's saying Shawnee's going to get something. But you can be brave. You can defend your corner.
I totally disagree with that.
The 100 definitely can see a sweep. The 200 definitely. The 400 I'm seeing like we might be able to get one too.
Yes.
You know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping. And I feel that we could get if triple jump, women's triple jump.
Yes.
I feel we could pull something off, as long as they do everything on target.
So the one word you'd use for Jamaican women's sprinting now overall is strong or, well, two words, very strong or strong. What would you say?
Oh, we're very strong.
Very strong.
Yeah, we're dangerous, man. Dangerous in the sprint.
I like it. Definitely. Alex Jordan, we understand you have to go. Any last words from you as you look forward to the start of the track and field action in Tokyo?
Well, it's exciting. It's what the world is waiting for always in the Olympics. It's great to see all the other sports, but let's be honest, the action happens on the track. I do think that this year, this special pandemic year, where we've seen the big stars fall out of the tennis in Osaka, in Ashley Barty, we've seen Simone Biles pull out in the gymnastics, all eyes will be on the big stars to see how they handle the pressure, how their mental fortitude stands up under these sort of increased pressure circumstances. But I'm sure the Caribbean will be shining as usual.
Absolutely. So Alex Jordan, continue to do the great job over there in Tokyo. You and the very, very small team, you're punching way above your weight class. And we know that Kerry Gibbons isn't a very heavy lad. So yeah, you can consider that in the mix as well. Thank you very much, Alex. We'll talk again. We'll take a break here on Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. Much more after these.
I've been a statistics my whole life. You know, I'm from an inner city in Kingston where a lot of persons don't usually make it, but I made it. So that means I have something special, and I just want to be remembered as being fearless and resilient and, you know, being dominant. I think that's a term a lot of women shy away from because nobody wants to hear, oh, as a woman, you're dominant. We should embrace our strengths, because there's nothing wrong with being strong and being powerful and fearless. So I want to be remembered as being fearless, you know, persevering despite of, you know, and strength. my greatest win is coming back after having my son and winning that world championship. Because for a lot of times in my life, I've always been told what I can do, what I cannot do, and what is attainable for me. And here I am, putting everything to the test, understanding that we are not limited, we are so much more, we're powerful, we're strong, Having my son rejuvenated me mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And I was able to get back to the track, and I was able to just come from a different angle. The angle I was coming from before is almost like, I had something to prove and it was hard work, but I'm coming from an angle of love this time. I've heard it and seen persons speak about me being the greatest, and I'm like, wow, to have your name mentioned in those kind of conversations, and what it does for me is just say, wow, I never even knew I would be here, winning these races and doing what I love. I never knew that this was gonna happen. I'm humbled at the suggestion, and also excited for the next generation of young athletes, young female athletes to come and understand that, listen, you too can be one of the greatest athletes in the world.
What is true is that for the first time in a very, very long time at the Olympics, the women's 100 meters is that race that everybody wants to see the final of. The men will be decent, but it's all about the women. And I'm so very happy that the women have finally landed pride of place. There is no equivocation, no doubt. It is the women's 100 meters final that is the one that all eyes will be trained on. I'm talking to Pauline Davis, Thompson, and Elaine Bailey on set. Anil Roberts has returned via satellite. I hope it's a more secure link than we had earlier. And we're going to talk about that 100 meters final and talk about the ladies that are primed to do something special in this contest. Let's start, Pauline, with Elaine Thompson Herrera, the defending champion. From your perspective, what makes her outstanding? What are her claims to defending this title?
First of all, George, Elaine is the defending champion of the 100 meters. She won the 100 meters in 2016 in Brazil. She's also the defending champion at 200 meters. So she's a tough opponent. It's not going to be easy. Champions, they just don't lie down and let you beat them.
Yes.
They always find a way to make things happen. And even though I love little pocket rocket, I call Shelly-Ann praise the prize. It's not going to be easy. She's not just going to go there and be the athlete that she lines up against. Then I'm expecting my very own Tiny Gator from Grand Bahama, the Bahamas, to also mix it up.
Yes.
It's not going to be easy. Pocket rocket, Shelly-Ann Fraser Price, is a tough cookie. Elaine Thompson is a tough cookie. I can't wait. I'm excited about that race. I can't wait to see what is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Sharika Jackson.
Yes.
A quarter miler. You know what quarter milers are?
Yes.
What they're like, right, George? They're tough.
Yes.
It's hard to beat them.
Yes.
They are like elephants.
Yes.
They retain a lot of things. And then she has that natural strength of a 400-meter runner. It means something. She's ran 10:77. She's also ran 49 low in the 400 meters. She's also run 21 second in the 200 meters. George, it's going to be on.
Absolutely, so I agree with you. Pauline jumped ahead to Sharika Jackson because I was going to leave her to talk about. The way is clear for Aileen to talk about Sharika when we get there. But Elaine Thompson Herrera, the pressure of defending this 100 meters title, does she have the wheels to do it?
I mean, she does. She's a tough competitor, and and mentally tough as well, because she doesn't worry about what anybody else has to say or who is on the line with her. She focuses on herself and what it is that she's there to do. So it's going to be hard, but as long as it's a Jamaican winning, I'm good with
You take anyone.
I'll take anyone.
Let's talk about your girl, the woman who went to the same high school that produced you, one of Vertec's finest ever, Sharika Jackson, transforming from a quarter-mile specialist and one who was dangerous in the 200 meters to have now emerged this season as a major force in the 100 meters. What are your expectations of her?
I'm expecting her to go out there and do her best. And what everybody doesn't realize, no one is focusing on her. So she's like that silent bullet, that silencer that's going to sneak in. So if you don't watch out, if everybody's like focusing on everybody else, like she might sneak in, and because she's like a tough cookie. The coach we had in high school that she had, Coach Houghton, he's always instilled that mental toughness into us from high school.
Yeah.
And then every time she steps on the track is in his memory, so she wants to go out there and give it her all and do her best. And
are you surprised, knowing her so very well and knowing her background, her antecedents, are you surprised, like so many people are, with how she has transformed from a world-class quarter-miler to a world-class 200, 100-meter sprinter?
They didn't see that rundown at Gibson Relay that year in the 4x1.
They forget that.
They forgot that.
They forgot that.
Nobody paid attention to that rundown at Gibson. Like she goes between. In high school, she was a short sprinter, 400, until she just got stuck with the 400.
Yeah.
But she loves the 100, and she's capable of running a really good 100 meters.
Yeah.
So
Pauline, in the 100 meters, and you would know, how does an athlete with 400 meters, the physical strength of a 400 meters runner, a top-class quarter-miler, how does that athlete use that advantage to good effect in a 100-meter sprint?
The way you use that to your advantage is that you're running 300 meters less. So you have nothing to lose and all to gain.
Yes.
You can go all out and you still ain't tired.
Yes, you'll be strong at the finish,
yes.
which is critical.
Yes.
Is critical. Anil Roberts, Pauline Davis-Thompson has made a point about the 400-meter strength that Sharika Jackson has, saying that, look, she's perhaps the only one in the field who can just go flat out knowing that she will be strong at the finish, whereas others in the race may be weak at the finish. Does this serve as a decisive advantage for the Jamaican who has wowed with her progress in the 200 and 100 meters this season?
Absolutely, and in that fitness, that cardiovascular fitness, that ability to maintain and also to go through the rounds. Anytime you have someone who has that genetic makeup to be fast and has the fitness to go long, you're going to be a dangerous human being. One, there's less risk of injury. Two, you can control yourself. Three, if there's a problem in the start, you can always mash gas going down, pick up your stride, keep your head still, and run through the tape. So a coach will always be more comfortable with a horse that can go the distance, that can go long, because you have more options, more strategy, more technique. And let me tell you something, the greatest myth perpetuated in this world is that men are strong and women are weak. I don't know where that came from, how many thousands of years ago some man fooled themselves and fooled all of us. I have coached over 1,000 athletes. At least 40 of them have been world class. And the top 10 that I've ever coached, who are the toughest, strongest, who could put up with me shouting, screaming, taking pressure, taking day in, day out, 7 hours, 2 hours on a bike, in the gym. Women are stronger, tougher, and can take more pressure than man at any time.
Anil, you just scored maximum points with the feminist and women's lib movement all around the world, my brother. The women are loving you right now. We take a break. We come back with more on Tokyo Prime. It's the evening edition. Shawnee Miller-Weaver doing her best Superwoman impression at the Rio 2016 Games in the 400 meters, tumbling over the line, but still having enough to get the gold medal that she absolutely deserved. Yeah, still to this day, controversy over whether she fell or whether she dived. The fact is, if she had run upright, she still would have won the gold medal. So, yeah, potato, yeah, gold medalist, and she is the champion in that event. But the question is she only zeroing in on the 400 meters, or will she add the 200 meters to her plate? It's a tough schedule for Mrs. Miller-Uibo, the outstanding Bahamian. She is absolutely brilliant in both events, and her rivals will be hoping that she picks this one and doesn't take that one, so it makes it easier for them to realize their medal dreams. Here's what the former 400 meters boss, Michael Johnson, had to say about Shawnee Miller. He said she entered in 200 and 400. In 2019, denied a schedule change to double, she announced plans for 200 only. She's 7th fastest in the 200, first fastest 400, could still double. Tuesday is a problem, Michael Johnson says. 400 round 1 morning, 200 final evening. What should she do? 200, 400, double? Pauline Davis Thompson, you put your cards face up on the table at the Las Vegas spot that you spend your considerable wealth. So now we know what you are saying about Shawnee Miller. Why are you saying she should double?
I'm saying, for me, trying to double in the 2 for the Olympic is almost like you committing suicide. That's my personal opinion. And yes, Shanae is very good at both the 200 and the 400 meters, and she's Olympic champion at 400 meters. If I was choosing, I was going to choose one event. And I would choose that event that is my favorite event. That's the one that I would choose. But the one that is my favorite, you know why? I'm going to work extremely hard and making sure I win the gold medal at that particular event.
Yes.
But I am now Shawnee. She is a very gifted young woman. She's a gazelle. She's tall. She has the height, the body structure. She has all the tools in her arsenal to be able to do well at 200 and 400. I just remember that when I ran the 400 meters at the Atlanta Olympics in 1996, I was flat out. Like, I literally was sick to my stomach. I saw stars. I literally thought I had died. That's how bad I felt, because I had some very, very, very tough rounds, and it was also a little humid there.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, I've never felt that bad running 49:28. It was horrible.
You went to death's door, you think?
Yes, yes. I went to the other side and came back. That's what I usually says.
Yes.
And for several days, I could barely move. My teammates could attest to that. I could barely move, and all I ran was the 400 meters.
Yes.
4 rounds in the 400 meters. And so if I had to advise Shanae, I would say to her, choose your favorite event and go for gold, baby.
Choose your favorite event, but not double.
That's what I would say.
That's what you would say. That's what you'd advise her to do.
Yes.
Consultant Pauline Davis Thompson said, Shawnee, pick one, but don't double.
Don't double, because the schedule, it's very tough. And let me tell you what athletes do to athletes who think they're bad and they think they could come and do double. They're going to run you ragged in the rounds. That's the fact. They're athletes who are going to fall on the sword, and they will tell other athletes, don't worry, I'm going to take her out hard, I'm going to make her hurt. They will do that. Elaine knows what I'm talking about. There are athletes who literally will do that to you. They will take you out hard, force you to run hard, because you think you're bad, you're going to come run, do 2 events at Olympic Games. This is not the Carifta Games. This is not Pan American Games. This is not the Commonwealth Games. This is the Olympic, the best of the best you're going to line up against. So that is my little personal advice. But then I don't get to tell Shawnee Miller-Uibo what to do. She's an Olympic champion. And I don't get to tell her what to do. So it's her decision as to what it is she wishes to do.
Aileen, your perspective on it. Should she double, should she pick one? And if one, which one?
Because she's a defending champion, and right now she's ranked, 7th in the 200?
200 and first in the 4.
Yeah, and first in the 4. So I would go with the one that I'm more likely to win, because 200 kind of rough, man. It's rough, and no one is, and to run, and she's running the finals of the 200 that morning. That's going to take out so much out of her. But, you know, if she has like a good medical team with her, you know, maybe they can get her ready. Depends on the break between the 200 finals and the heats of the 400.
Yes.
Then maybe she should be able to do it, because based on her train, I'm pretty sure her coaches and everybody has everything
prepared her to be able to do it.
To be able to do that, because the schedule's been out for like years now.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they couldn't just delay the 400 till the next day to accommodate the defending champion.
Elaine, don't fence sit with me. I want you know what it is to compete at the highest level. Were you Sean Miller with those numbers? Where you rank in the 400, where you rank in the 200, you know what the schedule is. What is it that you would do?
I'm running my 400.
You're not doubling?
No. Now I risk my gold medal, you mad?
I hear you on that. Anil Roberts, your perspective on the dilemma, if we can be so brash to call it that, facing Mrs. Miller-Uibo.
There's no dilemma, there's no double. It's a 400 only. The only thing she should have is doubles in the morning, maybe for a little protein. Understand this track and field, this world-class track and field. When you do a round of a 400, your body is shattered. On top of that, your muscle fibers tear. To then go into a 200 with the strongest field in the history of the 200 is utter madness. She would not make, and she would water it down, and she will affect her 400 meters. Furthermore, when you go into an event, you have to get there 2 hours before the event. You have to take your massage. You have to do your light warm-up. You have to prepare yourself. You do your secondary warm-up in the waiting room. You come out. You run around. People are going to come at you. You're going to have to try and qualify. You're still going to run above 85-90%. Then you have to go and cool down. Cool down takes energy, burns calories. You have to warm down. You have to get massage. You have to go back to eat. There is no double. She runs the 400 and the 400 alone. If you want to tell me we're going at the world record in the 400, I will take that. But there is no double.
The man from Trinidad and Tobago, the land of the doubles, says doubles equal nothing on the track. He says stick to one, stick to the 4, and cement your legacy there. Well, what did Michael Johnson say in response to the questions that he posed rhetorically? He did answer rhetorical questions, Michael Johnson did. He says, I say double. Mentality is key. Monday 200 round 1, just advance. 200 semi-final, run it like a final. Tuesday 400 round 1, critical. Establish a lead ASAP and hold to jog the last 100. Detrimental if she does it the other way around. Tuesday 200 final, all out. 400 semi-finals and finals. Do what you do best. Now, Pauline spoke about her experience in 1996. I remember 1996 for the gold spikes that Michael Johnson wore as he bust that 200 meters, 19.32 P.H. Tremaine's record going in that race, Anil Roberts. The fact is that a man who knows best says double. Are you wavering in the light of Michael Johnson's opinion, or are you standing firm? Are you steadfast?
He knows best about himself. He's a diminutive athlete. He's a male. He had it easy. The 400 meters, he could jog. This is not the same circumstance, and anybody who compares 1996 to right now with this woman's field, right now, we are not interested too much in the men's track and field. Women, everybody is ready to see the woman. The women's 200 is fire. This Shawnee Miller-Uibo also is a different athlete from Michael Johnson. Look at the size, look at the tallness, look at the height. That body cannot take the kind of jamming of a short, diminutive athlete with a different running style. Michael Johnson's running style was unorthodox. It didn't create a lot of tearing and power output. He ran back on his heels a little bit, so he would not be shattered and he could control himself. Miller-Uibo is tall, she's a gazelle, she's beautiful, she's brilliant, and she's very thin. You don't have the calories to make up the ability to recover for 200 and 400. So unfortunately, Michael Johnson should sell some more cornflakes and relax. If I'm coaching Miller-Uibo, we go 400, 400, 400.
Pauline, as we go to the break, let me ask you this. Do you think that it's a real situation for Shawnee Miller-Uibo to be contemplating whether to go 2 or 4? Or is it that she and her handlers have just left their options open, knowing full well that given the quality of the competition, they're going to have to just pick one and work with it?
George, I hope so. I hope that she's just thinking, okay, I'm entering the 2 under 4. I might do it, I might not do it. I'm hoping that at the end, that common sense prevailed and that she choose whichever one of the events she wishes to choose, whichever is her favorite. Because if it's your favorite, you will put your heart and soul into it. You choose your favorite one and you go for that. It's better to come home with 1 gold medal than not to come home with any medal at all, or to come home with a silver and a bronze or whatever have you. That's just my personal opinion. But like I say, Shawnee is an Olympic champion. She was an Olympic champion in 2016. I don't get to tell her what to do. But basically, I know if it was me, I wouldn't do it. I know the difficulty of trying to do. I know the difficulty when you're an athlete who eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables and do all of these things. It's hard. It's very difficult to go out there and to run 4 rounds of 400 meters, 4 rounds of 200 meters, and for you to come out on top. Michael Johnson is a different kettle of fish. That's a whole different situation. Plus, Shanae she's an athlete. She's a female. She's a female, and she's from the Bahamas. And my humble opinion, I just think she should stick to one. I don't get to tell her which one it is, but I just believe
stick to one.
Yes.
Very well. All right. So the consensus is that Mrs. Miller-Uibo should pick her favorite event, her strongest event, and focus on that. These are not age group championships where you can jump through rounds and qualify. You're going to have to run hell for leather from your first event. And the Olympics, the fiercest level of competition there is. Mrs. Miller-Uibo, advice is there. Let's see what you and your handlers do. This is Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. We're back with more. The action in the pool has been riveting. We've seen some outstanding performances in the water so far at these games. And we've seen a rivalry that really is a rivalry on paper, because the woman Titmus has exerted her dominance over Katie Ledecky, while among the men, Adam Peter came, saw, and conquered. And there are some other men who really threw down some fantastic performances in the pool as well and are deserving of mention. I say all that to say that the action in the pool will continue tonight. There are a further 5 finals to be contested, and we are going to be looking at the events in turn as we look to see who will win the individual races and how the competition will pan out in the water. Anil Roberts is over there in TNT. His internet connection is looking the cleanest it has looked since Friday. That's what one social media user said to me, Anil. They don't know what you have used to make your connection so crisp, but they're asking you to preserve that status. And Janelle Atkinson climbs into the chair to support the discussion as well. And let me get right to it. The 5 swimming finals down. Let's start with the men's 100 freestyle final.
Well, you've got to wonder, Caleb Dressel, what did they do? He had Coach Greg Troy as his coach, coached Anthony Nestle back in 1988. He coached Gustavo Borges, Shastri Roberts coming up the line. He coached at Bowles. I think Janelle swam at Bowles for a while. He's coached many athletes. But one thing that we know about Coach Troy is that he doesn't like to rest. He believes in work, and his work has carried him to greatness. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. but sometimes he's afraid to rest, and sprinters need rest. Caleb Dressel at the Olympic trials was looking fantastic. He was crisp and still had fitness at a 200 level. But I would have continued to rest him continuously for the next 3.5 weeks into the Olympics. It appears that Coach Troy did the opposite. He went back to work, got his threshold level back up, and then tried to rest again. He is not looking sharp, he's not looking crisp, and therefore Chalmers and everybody else comes into play. The Russian, Kolesnikov, who's already gotten a silver medal with a bad touch. It's an open field. It's one of the most open fields we've seen in the last 12 years.
Janelle, we were talking yesterday, we had a conversation about the media hyping certain U.S. swimmers, and the media certainly did a tremendous hype job where Caleb Dressel is concerned, to the extent that himself and Katie Ledecky were being anointed as the kings and queens of the pool. It has not worked out that way. While Ledecky has a gold medal to her name already, Dressel has really looked underwhelming. Do you sense that a revival is in the offing for him in this acid test of a 100 free final later?
I mean, I hate to say this to my fellow Gator, but he looks flat. And, you know, just as Anil had said, Kolesnikov, he's hungry for that gold medal that he missed out in and is sitting with a silver.
He gave away that gold medal.
He did.
That's my story.
He didn't give it his all, especially in the end.
Yes.
I think he thought he had it, but couldn't see his teammate a couple lanes over. So now in this 100 freestyle, he's chasing gold, period, point blank.
So based on what you've seen from both men, Kolesnikov and Dressel, you're putting Kolesnikov in the gold medal position. Has Dressel convinced you that he's quality enough to even get on the podium in this event?
I mean, I'm hoping for his sake, but it doesn't look good. I think Chalmers will be on there as well, and if he can get out like he normally does, because he's normally a very powerful sprinter, he's out the gates just, you know, from the start. But what we've seen, especially at these Olympics, he just looks like, no, everyone, it's almost like Kate Ledecky, where there's been chinks in their armors and people are like, oh, but they're actually pretty beatable. It's not that hard.
Yes.
So,
and then just before I move on to the other event, I need to get you clearly on this. With your wise eye, does Dressel get on the medal podium later in this 100 free final?
I can see him getting a silver, maybe a bronze, but it could bounce down all the way down to fourth, depending on how he gets out. He's the greatest starter in the world, bar none. He's going to get off the blocks, break out, and have the lead. But he's not sharp, he's not as fast as normal, and therefore he won't get clear. Chalmers and Kolesnikov and the whole field will turn and get back at him. He looked sluggish in the 4x100 relay. He died at the end. He started to chop his stroke. He's not the greatest technician in sprint history. You won't compare him to a Popov. You won't compare him to a Van den Boogenband. But he is the most powerful, and his power is missing. So I think I give him the bronze, but I will see if he has the heart of a champion to get out there tonight and do what's necessary.
Well, I'm going to go against the wisdom of both of you, and you know 30 million times more about swimming than I do. I don't think he gets on the podium tonight based on what I've seen. He'll have to have a tremendous revival, but from what I've seen, that's not a man who's going to get on the medal podium in this very competitive event. What about the 200 meters breaststroke final, Janelle, for the men?
For the men, the 200 breaststroke, I think Kaminga is desperately looking for his gold medal. You know, PT got the best of him, but I think the 200 breaststroke is his to lose.
Your man Kaminga, Anil, you spoke so glowingly about him from Friday onwards. He understandably came up short in the 100 because he ran up into an extraterrestrial talent in the form of Adam Peaty. Is the 200 meters breaststroke his domain? Is it his kingdom to take charge of, the Dutchman Kaminga?
Well, let me put it this way. As you said, Adam Peaty is the greatest. Adam Peaty was not at his sharpest. Kaminga had an opportunity and he didn't grasp it. He made every error possible in the 100-meter breaststroke, but he still got silver. That will boost his confidence. So now he knows that he has best speed of all 8 in the final, and he's coming back with fitness and confidence that he's already been on the podium. So the nerve level will be down, his self-esteem will be up, he will be more confident. A 200 breaststroke is more his style because you can judge your pace. It allows you more stretch. You glide in front, you take your time, you can conserve your energy, you build through the 80 meters into 110 meters, and you try to hit the hammer on the third 50 going. I think this is Kaminga's race to lose, but you can always see in the 200 breaststroke, if someone on the outside has the testicular fortitude to change the game and go out fast, sometimes they hold on when they're way out in lane 7 or 8.
You know, Janelle, before we move on, I have to put this to you, though, because guess what? I maintain that although he won the silver, and it's curious that we're criticizing a man who won a silver medal at the Olympics, but I think Kaminga buckled under the pressure, the weight of expectation of challenging Pete in that 100 breaststroke. I don't think he swam his best race because of the pressure. Isn't it possible, isn't it conceivable that as the howling favorite heading into this 200 breaststroke final, that the pressure could have an inhibiting effect on his performance once again, my friend?
Absolutely not. I disagree completely. I don't think the pressure got to him with PT. I think at the end of the day, he knows he's not much of a 100 breaststroker compared to PT, who puts everything into that 100 breaststroke. He knows he has to double, and the 100 breaststroke was almost like a stepping stone. And it was a bonus that he got a medal. Obviously, he wanted the gold, but no, he knows he has the speed. Just as Anil said, better than everybody else in the field, and he has the endurance and has everything else in his wheelhouse that he can use to make sure he guarantees that gold medal.
Well, you know who I'll be cheering against later. You know that, and we'll be here doing the game, doing the finals. So
he's a hater, folks.
There you go. Anil, the women's 200 meters butterfly final.
The women's 200 meters butterfly final. Again, we don't know much about the Chinese athlete. We don't know much about the Japanese, how they perform. You see, coaches have their cultures. Just like we talked about Coach Troy and Florida, they work hard, they work brilliant, they're the toughest coaches in the world. But when it comes to the intuition on the individual athlete and resting and tapering, they sometimes make some mistakes. The Japanese follow that tradition. They are very disciplined. They are very focused. But we don't know what they do when they rest. The U.S. athlete Flickinger, she looks to be the clear favorite. She had great Olympic trials. Her stroke is immaculate. She stays up high. The timing of her breathing, she breathes every 2, then every 1 in a rhythmic fashion. She has the ability to change pace mid-50. Many swimmers use the walls in order to increase their tempo, increase their pace, increase their speed. A great rhythmic butterflyer like Flickinger is one that can smash gas in the middle of the pool. I think she and Smith, who is a bit broken and not as sharp as she wants to be, the U.S. are going to take it down, but it's going to be exciting. Again, you can't guarantee anyone is going to be the favorite in this one. All swimmers have a chance to get up there and take the gold.
Yeah, I like the looks of Flickinger, Janelle. What say you?
So, you know, looking at the lineup, lanes 3, this is her first event. So she's been itching, waiting to get into the mix. Lane 4, she won silver in the 100 fly. So she has the speed, but don't know if she necessarily has the endurance for the 200 fly. And then you have the 2 Americans who both got a bronze medal and are obviously chasing and hoping to upgrade themselves. So, I mean, I think between lanes 3 and 6, that's where the race is going to be.
3, 4, 5, and 6. Janet Atkins is picking 4 athletes in one race. There can only be 1 gold medal. Yeah, she's gonna.
They can share it.
They can share it. Yeah, there you go. All right, what about the men's 800 freestyle final, Janelle?
All right, so, I mean, me personally, I have to go with my fellow Gator, Bobby Fink. I've seen him swim this summer, and he actually looks really, really good. Unlike Dressel, who is at sprinter and trains with Florida, he's a distance swimmer, so he has that background for starters, and I really think he looked good in the prelims. With that being said, I don't want to count him out. Do I feel like he can win the gold? We'll see. They're all within a second of each other, the top 3 places. So I really think it's going to come down to probably the last 100 to 200 to see who makes a move.
800 free final, Anil?
Fortunately, male swimming middle distance now is quite boring. It's anybody's race, but it's not high quality. We've gone from the Australians of the Karen Perkins and coming up the road with fantastic swimmers from Korea and coming on. This middle distance, I thought Raksis would have been the man of the Olympics. His coach has made a total mess of it. Danielle is absolutely correct. It looks like it's pink, but there are 3 swimmers who could take it. There will be no world record. You will get an exciting race, but it's not going to be anything to write home about. You're not going to want to order doubles with hot pepper with this thing. It's going to be a slow race. It's going to be a tactical race. You always have the Italians who you're not sure what they did or how they did it, but they tend to swim long and maintain their rhythm. So you're going to get excitement in a slow field.
It's going to be a pile-up is what the man is saying. All right, the women's 4x200 meters relay final is also on tap, and that's one of the 5 finals that will be on live today. We break now from Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. Again, repeating, 5 finals in the pool. 5 finals live right here. Don't need the broadcast tonight. We've seen a few Caribbean boxers at these Olympics so far, especially those from the English-speaking Caribbean. No man yet advancing to the next round of competition, but we have seen some promise, especially from the young Guyanese. Kevin Alicock, a couple of Trinidadians have boxed so far, and there is a Jamaican, Ricardo Brown, set to make his debut at these Olympic Games. He fights, his name is Ricardo Brown, fights in the heavyweight division, and his opponent, Shachi Kumar, the man from India. And just quickly, because we have just a little time in this last segment, the fact of the matter is that the Jamaican Ricardo Brown carries a lot of hopes with him, because to be frank, we haven't really been impressed by what we've seen from our pugilists so far at these Olympic Games.
Yes, especially coming from the Caribbean, where we've had world champions in Trinidad, and we've had Scott Noel, Les Tiger, we've had Giselle Salangi, and Jamaican world champion Trevor Burbick, Tokyo and 8 world champions. And for us in the amateur ranks to have fought 2 or 3 fights and lost all, we even had a Venezuelan boy from here who fought as in the refugee team, but he arrived so late and get that and got knocked out because he didn't obviously listen to his coaches and management. You can't travel halfway across the globe and then get in a race to fight. That's very dangerous, and you got still knocked out. We have not impressed. I mean, even Alicock, I'm impressed at him. I think he has the Roman skills, but he didn't advance. He messed up with De La Cruz from Dominican Republic and lost. So Jamaica, we're looking at you. Land we love, Caribbean we love. Jamaica has to take the cares out of our hands.
Yeah, Ricardo Brown carrying a lot of hopes. As we wrap the Tokyo Prime Evening Edition, Elaine, the fact is that these games, you know the background leading up to the competition in Tokyo, the COVID-19 situation, and will it or won't it? It's not gone on too badly so far. I'd say it's gone on rather well. What say you?
It's going well. There haven't been a lot of athletes leaving the village because they've tested positive, so that's a good look. And for a country to have something scheduled for so long and it being canceled, I'm happy that it's actually going so well for them on that aspect. So it's good. It's going good, and it's looking good for us as well.
Quite so. Janela, I didn't get your view on the latest news regarding Simone Biles, who has withdrawn from one of the individual events. We all know what happened with the team events. We spoke about that, and we were wondering if she would keep her commitments where the individual events is concerned. She's out, and huge doubt now about whether we are going to see more of her for the remainder of the games. Again, issues concerning mental well-being and how she is dealing with it. We forget that she has a lot of baggage, and we don't want to say this to make it sound like a bad thing. Baggage is baggage, yeah? And she has gone through a lot. Teammates of hers have gone through a lot. There have been some people punished for what they did to people who were in the setup with her and who did things to her herself. So in this moment, in this vulnerable moment, I guess you would say that, you know, the world should continue being understanding.
No, absolutely. And I think that for everybody, this extra year that has basically put everyone's lives on hold, especially these Olympians and these athletes, really, you know, it takes a lot more. And then all the other things that have been going on in the U.S. with the election, with the Black Lives Matter, all of those things have taken a toll on all of us. And not all of us are in Tokyo right now competing among the best. And like we said, she pulled out of the team. I know that she's pulling out of her individual. It shows how serious this thing is that she's going through, because it's one thing to pull out to the team and like, well, I'll still chase my goal and, you know, good luck to you guys. But the fact that it came down to her pulling out individually as well, that says a lot.
Elaine, you told me a story off camera about how one comment from one person had a serious effect on you when you were competing. Can you imagine living in or competing in the now, where there are thousands of people, tens of thousands of people on social media telling you this, telling you that, negative things. You read the papers, you see things posted about you. Could you imagine being in this goldfish bowl?
No, I probably would be having my brothers beating people up left, right, and center, and I probably would be in a couple of fights myself, because it's hard for you to work so hard for something and to have people who have no idea what you're going through, because you're putting all this physical stress on your body. Pretty much as an athlete, you have no life. Like you whatever event or sports that you're doing, that's all you do. You have to eat a specific way. You have to sleep, go to your bed at a specific time. Sometimes you have to wake up at 5 o'clock to do one training, get a little snack in between, and then you have another training session. So it's hard to put your body through this. And then when you have just like a off day, we're allowed to have a off day. Everybody, even corporate America, all of them have an off day. And these people that are commenting, they've had off days. So they just need to be understanding to what this child is going through. We don't know what she's going through. You know, it could easily be somebody that did something to her, she spot in the stadium, and it could just trigger a bad memory. So we don't know what she's going through.
Yeah.
So we just have to be understanding.
Yeah. As we wrap Tokyo Prime, the evening edition today, I want to thank Anil Roberts for his contribution, Alex Jordan before him, and of course Pauline Davis Thompson as well. The abiding image in my head is of an obese man. Usually it's a man. An obese man sitting in his mother's basement on her computer, eating chips, telling an elite level female athlete that she's fat. Yeah, that's what happens. And those are the kinds of people who feed the beast of criticism and are finding flaws in others when they aren't even brave enough to go outside and sit on their porch because they're afraid people are going to criticize their physical appearance, and they're hiding away, calling people fat and calling people names and contributing to the turmoil that professional athletes face. Not cool. Tokyo Prime Evening Edition, 5 finals on. In the water this evening. Ricardo Brown, the Jamaican boxer, also set to be in action later today. And track and field starts on Thursday. We all can't wait. We break and send you away and remind you that the programming continues as we cover the games of the 32nd Olympiad.